Not a whole 7. I got 7.
We're all sitting down. I'll call this meeting to order. Please rise and we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Eichmann.
Present.
Biesinger.
Present.
Voss.
Present.
Ekis.
Present.
Fry.
Present.
Gross.
Present.
Schroller.
Present.
Trom.
Present.
We have quorum. All right. The first item is approval of minutes from November 23rd. I did not have any amendments. Did anybody have amendments? I would entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor.
Approve. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 8-0. The next item is public comments. This is for people who are not on the agenda who would like to share for a maximum of 5 minutes. Please come to the podium and give your name, your address, and your ward.
Good evening, Council. Tony Deaver with the CES Group, and I live in Ward 1, 1110 Zelfa Drive.
All right.
I just want to thank you guys for working with us again in 2015, allowing us to do work for the city and in our hometown. We truly appreciate it. So there's some snacks in the room there for your meeting tonight. Hope you enjoy it and have a happy holidays.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tony.
Merry Christmas.
We appreciate all the work you do for our city as well. Is there anyone else?
Marvin Turner, 1110 Jenkins, Marysville. I just wanted to ask some questions about the 20th Street project, such
Okay.
as what's the need to decrease the grade east of 20th Street?
I believe it's because we're putting the stoplight there to make it easier on truck traffic and for visibility. Is that correct?
It's a lot of it's visibility, yes. And KDOT recommended the stoplight because of the traffic counts. Yes.
You know, I've pulled up that intersection a lot of times. I haven't had a better trouble seeing a truck coming up over that hill. One of the problems you have there, and a reason I avoid that intersection, a lot of the traffic's not down to 30 mile an hour when they go through that intersection. You have the 30 mile an hour right there by Hardee's. And I'm guilty of that too when I'm driving across country. A lot of times you come into a town, you go from 50 to 35, and then all of a sudden it's a 25. And they don't say reduce to 25 ahead. And one way you can solve that problem is move the 30 mile an hour east about 100 yards, and maybe they'd be down to 30 mile an hour when they get to the intersection.
We thought about
We
that?
don't have jurisdiction over that. That's KDOT.
Oh, where the 30
Our jurisdiction ends at 20.
Is it that in the city of Marysville?
It's actually just east of 20th, isn't it, about the surf drive-through? Because there's a state, it's where the maintenance sign is.
Yeah.
Because we're only responsible for the highway to that point.
Yes.
Now, we are, and part of the agreement was to accept the highway farther on. Do we know how far that is?
Well, probably at the end of this project, if we complete the project, we'll take it at least to the end of this project.
Which
puts
would
it
be
down.
closer to
Puts
the
it right
lake,
behind the surf motel,
but not very much farther.
halfway down the hill.
Another question, why do you need a stoplight there? I think this project started in 2013. How have we got along since then at that intersection?
I'll speak to that since I work up 20th. I've sat at that intersection for 15, 20 minutes at a go, and I've seen a lot of people take some pretty risky gambles jumping out in at that intersection. KDOT agrees, I mean, with the traffic counts, but I'm biased in that I do work at Landau, so I do use 20th Street quite a bit. But you have no idea how excited a lot of the people I talk to up there about this project are that, oh boy, I won't have to try to shoot out through that intersection or try to, get out into traffic there. It backs up quite a bit.
They have alternatives, though. They can go over to 15th or go to 14th where they have a stoplight. If I want to get out on the 36, I usually go to 14th.
Right. And
let the stoplight go.
A lot of people do that as well, and I think that's why, Rick, you said that 14th is our busiest intersection by traffic counts in town. but a lot of people live on 14th, and a lot of people live on 15th. 15th's kind of difficult too with the hill and visibility, but I think that's a lot of it. Some people go over to 11th Road, but 11th Road intersection, we're looking at trying to get a light there because of the danger. It's, in a perfect world, things wouldn't have developed how they did. Land all up in the, by the hospital, up by the residential area through there. In theory, there'd be better places for it, but it's I don't know what the traffic count is on 20th Street, but certain times a day, it gets backed up. It backs up north of Carolina. And people trying to get in, people cheat through the Hardee's parking lot and through the thrift store parking lot. It's an amazing amount of traffic at that intersection. I've learned to avoid it.
We do have semis too that are traveling east, making that left turn, and it's kind of dangerous. And we'll have more semis after Casey's development out of that corner. So.
From my understanding, the stoplight's going to be $187,000.
186, 7 something, or close to 187.
That's an estimate.
Yeah.
Two stop signs.
The project opens up.
2 stop signs for east and west traffic would be a whole lot cheaper, and it'd be a safer intersection then also. I drive a stretch of road between Cleveland, Texas, and Beaumont. There's 3 places they have 4-way stops where you have intersecting highways. And that road is probably heavier traveled than 36. You go from 70, 75 mile an hour to a stop, then you take off again. And you don't have any wrecks when everybody stops at a stop sign.
Part of our concern was, and this goes back to the cutting the hill, is that westbound semi-traffic getting up that hill in winter. So part of it was, our thought was, if that light's running in winter and truck's going westbound, it's going to have a tough time getting going again if it stops going up the grade. So the problem I would see with putting a stop sign there is you can't set that light to flash. Those trucks would have to make a stop on a hill going up the grade.
Well, what are they going to do when the light's red?
We won't have it red. During inclement weather, it'll go to flashing just like these do, where it'll flash amber so that trucks don't get stopped on the grade.
Who's going to set it to amber?
It's the water department technically.
Amber, police.
Streets.
Either one.
Most of the time, 36 is the best place to drive when we have bad weather. They clear that off faster than any other place that I know of. And the left turn lanes was another thing. The way I understood, you're going to move the curb 2 or 3 feet to the north. There's enough room there on that highway right now for left turn lanes.
Not at Sonic.
Not at Sonic. The curb sticks out an extra foot, and it varies. If you ever stand there at Hardee's and look westbound on the north side of the road, the curb is not a consistent distance from the center line of the road, especially there at Sonic. It juts out an extra foot. I've driven across there thousands of times and seen people, so at least a dozen times, seen people hit that curb because it juts out there. But all along there, it's irregular, and it's different than to the east or to the west. From 17th Street west, it's that kind of consistent 3-lane width, and then east of there, I think probably because it was not originally part of town, it's very inconsistent, and so incoming traffic coming out of Sonic, it makes for a lot of kind of hairy situations, people coming out of United or from the Armory. And with the Casey's there, I imagine that'll be extra tricky trying to get traffic in and out.
But when Casey's goes in, I can see where you can move that with their cooperation without spending a lot of money. My thought process is, why spend $500,000 of taxpayers' money to fix a problem that's not worth $500,000?
Well, a turning lane is needed between 20th and 18th Street. I spent 18 years working at the bank there at the corner of 18th and the highway, and really do need the turning lines.
This is one of those things where turning lanes and cutting the hill and the stoplight, and then there's new businesses going in, and the curb and gutter's in rough shape anyway, and there's drainage issues. It's not an omnibus project, but it's one of those, it's an expensive project, but that's because it's hoping to solve 5 or 6 things kind of all at the same place at the same time. and it's kind of the neglected section. We've worked hard to keep curb and gutter going west, improve that. Going east has been improved. It's in good shape. That's kind of the missing link. And, I'm glad there's Casey's going to invest there. And I think that's probably part of why they were encouraged to do that. There's other, Sonic has my understanding is they've considered relocating because of the difficulty in access there. I think it behooves us to kind of encourage, that area to stay developed because it's in the center of town. There's no new development. We don't need to build any more roads or new infrastructure like we did with Subway and others. I mean, the more that goes east, development is good. But this is development on infrastructure we already have. And, to my eye, I guess it's, like you said, it's, can that money be better spent elsewhere? Opinions are going to vary. But I appreciate the perspective.
We do have the bid go out on Wednesday, and whatever it comes in, hopefully it comes in under bid, and whatever it comes in under bid is less monies that we have to spend, because the KDOT money is fixed at $750,000. So if it should come in under bid, then that's monies that we save. So.
Well, when this project was started in 2013, Casey's, that wasn't even in the works at that time.
There were rumors, but that was
maybe rumors, but I talked to my neighbor that owned the property, and they closed, I think, maybe April of this year.
Right.
So 2013, I don't think it was in the works. Well, thank you.
Well, we appreciate you sharing and paying attention to what's going on in our city, so.
Well, I know KDOT gets in the way on a lot of this stuff, so I'm guessing we won't see any stop signs. We'll see a stoplight to be avoided. Thank you.
Thank you, Marvin.
Is there anyone else? All right, Dave Schauer at Horseland.
Dave Schauer with Horseland Farm and Home. We're based out of Moberly, Missouri, and I'm here to speak about the road improvements on 12th Street, or 12th Road, excuse me. I believe all of the council members got a site plan, a couple of site plans. Just real quick, then I'll open it up for you guys to ask questions. Everybody just needs to understand that these site plans that we submitted are very in their first stages. We need to get some commitment from the city. We also need to go through KDOT to see what kind of improvements that we'll have to make because of KDOT codes. So it's very, very much in the beginning stages. So with that said, though, I'll open up, and if council has any kind of questions that you'd like to ask.
What's the size of your current building?
Size of the current building is, what is it, 14.5 total building? Total building. And what we're looking at is we're looking at two different site plans. Depending on the financial aspects of what we look at, we may put a 32,375 square foot store in. We would have to buy additional land for that type of project. The other one is a 24,000 square foot store, which is even going to almost double the size of the current location. And the reason we're looking at that one is because we just have to buy one lot. So, like I said, we've got a lot of things that we've got to look at, but the first step was to see what kind of cooperation we can get with the city as far as making some improvements on that 12th Road, because right now the road is just not going to hold up to traffic and any kind of traffic that I can see.
Have you talked to Hometown Lumber as far as, I noticed on the second drawing it has an entrance that's kind of aligned with theirs.
Yeah, we have not talked with them. I have talked with Rick and David from the city, and they did give me a contact information, but here again, we wanted to go with the city first, because if we can get some cooperation, then yes, I think it would be a natural thing to go to hometown as well and see if they would cooperate as well.
They're sitting right there.
Oh, great.
That's it. My thought was that if the road was improved past both
Yes.
of those, if that shared intersection, then
Yes.
the truck traffic and everything would benefit. It wouldn't be just for one business or the other.
Yes.
It would benefit both businesses.
And I agree. I think that would be a win-win for everybody.
My question to him was that we obviously don't have this in the 2016 budget. Budget. Not only do we not have it in the budget, but there's no opportunity to get grant money this late for 2016. So I was asking him if he's flexible enough to see if there's any way we could get some 2017 funding, which starts mid-year 2016, correct, Rick?
Well, the applications would come out in 2016, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the KDOT that splits the year July 1. Okay. So anyway, I think it's great that we have a business here that wants to expand. This is their property, their potential property. You don't have it, you haven't purchased it
Correct.
yet.
We have made contact with the property owners, and they are willing to go back into negotiations with us if we do proceed. And the other good thing too is you're not only going to get a new building for Orchland Farm and Home, but we've had several interest on the old building as well. So I think we can fill that one pretty quickly too. So it's almost like getting a
win-win.
double, triple
Yeah.
tax increase for you.
Well, the good thing about it is that I think this would qualify for the economic development grant monies with KDOT since it's a business location. So, but they would have to go and figure out, when I looked at the plans, the first thing I questioned was if they had to have a deceleration lane turning right onto 12th Road when you're going eastbound. And that would be up to KDOT. And the width of the road that 12th Road would have to be would be a KDOT spec as well, so.
Turning radiuses and that sort of
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think they're just here to see if we're interested in partnering with them at some level. I guess, we have no idea the cost of the project right now or what the requirements are.
Right, and this is our first step. Like I said, we're just seeking to see if the council would even consider it. And then once we get some information back from the KDOT and from our numbers as far as construction, we could probably share those with you, and then we could actually see about what kind of percentage.
And then you could see if you're willing to wait to see if
Yes.
there's some grant monies available?
Yes.
And there's already water and sewer utilities. There wouldn't.
Yes.
So you probably wouldn't be needing to, need any kind of assistance, or we wouldn't be running any more lines or anything. This wouldn't be like
That
some
would be
projects.
just the road.
Correct.
I think the sewer, the only question we had about the sewer was, David, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know more about sewer. Okay. We were wondering if we would have to have a pump station.
We haven't.
But I think we came back and we
Depends
decided
on
we
the
would not.
elevation of your building.
Right. So, I don't think we will. So that will be
Down there.
advantageous to us as well.
When you say partnering,
Yes.
what are you asking of us? Of course we want you guys. What do you want us as a partner?
Well, like I said, we just want to make sure that we can get a level of comfort going forward, because as the Mayor mentioned, probably our next step will have to be a traffic study to see what KDOT will require. Because if we do have to do the right-hand turn lane, there again, that's another expense for us that we wouldn't expect the city to participate in. The only thing we're looking at is the 12th Road. And the only reason we're looking at that 12th Road improvement is because the way it is right now, it just is not I mean, I'm not even sure if the automobile traffic is real comfortable on that road.
I did go out there and drive it. Have you guys been out there lately?
Yes.
Yeah.
Every week.
Every week.
That's been on our radar for a long
So,
time.
you know that management
New
plan
development, that
that we
corner would-
wanted that
that
KDOT
pushes
to do?
along.
Yeah.
I know they said that they would not do it in 2016. Is that when we tried to get it for 2016? So we can go ahead and apply for 2017 as well, can't we?
Well, it's not an application. I mean, I can always contact them again,
Okay.
see if they'll reconsider, but KDOT management told them there wouldn't be any additions, so wouldn't be any more of those plans. At least not this year.
Okay, well, maybe we can pursue that early on in 2016 and just see what the funding looks like.
I think that would be a good economic
but all-
development project.
All the corridor management plan would do,
Is give us
if
access
there
points.
was a right turn lane required, KDOT would pay for that.
Yay.
The
Which
city
would
would
help.
have to pay the design costs. In this case, they would probably pick it up.
Right.
Then that leaves more money for them to put in 12th Road.
Right.
I don't have a problem, I'll contact them again.
I don't know if we need to wait
Touch
till
base with them.
2016
No,
stuff.
I
so-
might call. Legislature's going to be meeting here in about 3 or 4 weeks anyway, so.
Okay.
What is your timeline, Dave?
Well, once again, we would have liked to have had them in there last week, but of course, if we could get something done this year, which is very unlikely, we would try to get it done by, and have him in his new building by Thanksgiving, but that is a very lofty goal. If we could get something done, or find out at least if Marysville could get a grant from the KDOT, or, if we could find out something by August, maybe we could start turning some dirt towards October, November.
The thing is, when the CLINK program, which we're going into next year, geometric improvement, of which the one we're doing this year, and economic development, they're all three of those programs come open at the same time. The next round that comes open would be the 2018 fiscal year, which starts in July 1 of 2017. So that would be the earliest. If it did get funded, that would be the earliest that anything could be spent.
Would we know in August if we would have that?
September, probably.
And you got to realize, we're going to be doing a lot of revamping of site plans, and we'll have to go through KDOT, which may take 6 months for us to get through KDOT. Our timing, we would like to get it done as quickly as possible, with the understanding that we do have to go through the state of Kansas on Highway 36, and we know that can take some time, because we were looking at this project before, and that's kind of what killed it before, was we could not get an entrance off the 36. So, and that took us about 3 or 4 months to go through KDOT on that as well. So we understand it's going to take some time. So, I've been given the challenge to try to get it done for the 2016 timeline, but realistically, 2017 is probably a better.
Well, you could be
Target
building
date.
your building without doing
Yes.
a road, can't you?
Yes. Actually, yes, you can. As long as we can get that construction entrance,
Yeah.
we'll be good.
Yeah, you could go in and out before
Yeah.
we get started.
Yeah,
on our
so we could start in, as long as, like I said, as long as we would know something, we could start in January, February, March of 2017 and be ready by July. Because typically it takes us 4 months to build. So if we started in March, we were looking at March, April, May, June, you're getting right there by that July timeframe, so.
Okay, well, is it the consensus of council that we will partner with this program?
Oh, yes.
Is that enough of a commitment from us?
That's enough of a commitment that we'll go forward, and like I said, our next step will probably be that.
To get a traffic study done, and we'll see what they require.
From KDOT.
And then that'll include probably an estimate of what the road cost will be, or not
And
quite?
I'm going to turn around and kind of look at Tony for a little bit, and I think
Would that include?
That could give us a pretty good, that would give us
Include
pretty
a
good-
cost estimate, a total cost for the road? Okay.
And then probably by, I would say February, March, probably we could get a traffic study done by February, March. And then we could bring that back to you on the next council meeting.
Okay, all right, great. Well, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you very much for your
We hope this all
time.
works for all of us.
All right.
Thanks, Dave.
All right. The next item is ordinance number 1840. It was the sewer rate adjustment. We talked about this at the budget workshop. And this is just implementing the increase to the cost for those that are using over 2,500 gallons, which is the minimum base rate.
Move to approve ordinance 1840.
Second.
Is there any further discussion?
Before we get inundated on the streets with people saying we had taken this sewer rate up, I think that we want to make sure that everybody knows this is not increasing the base rate. For those who live frugally and use just the minimum amount of water of 2,500 gallons a month, there's no increase to you. This is only for those gallons above 2,500. So it's not a base rate. Most people won't see it unless you go over 2,500 gallons a month in use.
Okay, good point. Any further discussion? Roll call?
Bachman,
Yes.
Biesinger,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Ekis,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
Gross,
Yes?
Schroller,
Yes.
Throm.
Yes.
8-0.
All right. The next item is on page 7 to 11. It's a financial policy. We discussed this at the budget workshop as well. I think it's beneficial, just gives basic information about why we have certain balances that we have, what our desires are to keep the balances, maintain certain balances. It's just a great starting point of our financial plan. And I talked to Rick about getting this, if we approve it, to go ahead and get it on our website so people can read it, kind of if they want to understand our budget better, as well as maybe keeping a monthly financial statement on the website as well, so they can kind of look and compare the two. So is there a motion or discussion?
Move to approve City of Marysville Financial Plan Policy A-76.
Second.
Is there any discussion on this? I think all the changes were made that we talked about, so. Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? 8-0. All right. I'm not aware of any notices or hearings. There is a consent agenda that has 7 items listed on there. I have a question on item 6. So, I don't know if somebody wants to make a motion to
And
pull
I had a
6?
question on 5, that there wasn't a dollar amount for the rent, the amount of rent.
I think that was so we could have flexibility each year, so that it wouldn't be set for all 5 years.
Okay.
So I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda, pulling out number 6, just for discussion.
Move to approve the consent agenda, removing item 6 for discussion.
Second.
Okay, we discussed 6 now? Or we vote on that? All right. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? 8-0, okay. My question on a change order on page 26. Actually, it has to, it's on page 27. First off, I asked Rick about that decorative wall at Zetterman's, and he said you said you were confident that they weren't going to request us to put that back up.
Yes.
And do you believe that's true, Denny? You know
I haven't
him?
talked to him.
You haven't talked to him, okay. All right, well, since Rick said that, and then I guess the reason why I pulled it was on item number 20, It talks about reimbursement for the asphalt finishing, and that's where they were working on that over the culvert, and they ended up using our equipment, which they gave us credit for, and they gave us credit for the roller use. But when I went out there and saw them doing it, they were using city staff, and there were 6 of our men out there working that afternoon, and they didn't give us any credit for staff hours. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about that.
They were only out there for 3 or 4 hours.
I know, but
I mean, I
6
think
men.
that's pretty adequate. $500, pretty good reimbursement.
That covered the coal mix too.
Well, we didn't break it down. I mean, we didn't go to the
No, I
trouble
mean,
of
but
breaking it down, but
that would still be
$500 I
enough
think is
to cover
pretty
coal
decent.
Coal mix and the hours.
It wouldn't cover there's no labor. If you turn over on page 28, it shows how they came up with the $500, and it was $350 for the materials and $150 for the roller use. So I just wanted your thoughts on that.
But Rick, what you're saying is the $350 would have covered the labor?
I think the $500 is reasonable.
Would it cover the labor?
total- Well,
Or that was
you
the
don't...
product cost?
When you're using a roller, that roller doesn't operate itself. That roller has an operator. And when you're laying coal mix down, you got people doing it, so it's kind of built in there.
Well, in item 17, pardon me, but they've got 8 hours of labor figured at $55 an hour. If we had 4 men, if we had 4 hours, and how many men out there? 6 to 8 of our men out there at $55 an hour? That's a little substantial.
$220 an hour for, oh, hey, Tony.
If I could comment on number 20.
Come up.
I believe that was Kent's idea as well. I don't think the contractor asked them to come lay cold mix on it. They were working in the area, and Kent came up and decided that's what he would prefer to top that off.
I thought it was because a hot mix got rain on it.
Yeah, they got it weather and cold, and
Yeah.
they couldn't finish it. Ken offered, well, we got cold mix, we'll finish it, because there was only an inch or 2 left. Very, very little left. Didn't take very long. I think you're getting bogged down. I think you're choking on a gnat to argue whether the labor is on there. I think that $500 is a reasonable reimbursement.
Well, maybe we could keep this kind of in the back of our mind, and instead of challenging it now, just expect maybe a little quid pro quo down the road a ways. Just a little, we kind of let this slide, maybe something will come up that we can be given back.
Now, he still needs to do the grading, right, on this ditch?
He did a lot of it on Saturday.
Yeah, they did some work Saturday.
And so, so we don't expect another change order. This would be the final one?
Correct.
To include that grading?
Correct.
And
Yeah, the grading was done on his base bid. That was correcting work he had originally done, so that's at his expense.
so the grading was done on Friday. How'd it work
Saturday.
How'd it work this weekend?
Saturday is for the rain.
Before the
They
rain?
were out there Saturday morning with a scraper
Yeah,
and tractor.
Bobcat.
Bobcat. And got it so it drains better. I mean, it's not smooth, but I mean,
Yeah.
it rained a lot this weekend. It kind of
Cut it?
Cut it a little bit.
cut a little bit, not much though.
So it looked like it worked. Did you happen to drive out there and see what it looked like?
I did, yeah, before I left work today. It is rough. I mean, we're down to the rock, and I think part of the problem is it's rock that's been dug up as well, been trenched through with the sewer, so we can't just get down to a nice flat rock surface. It's half on a flat surface, half in an old trench from when the sewer went in, so it's just rough, and that's kind of the way it was. And without really probably lining the entire thing with turf reinforced mats, and that just might be what it is.
We talked about those mats once. Did we
Right.
not do that?
No, we did not.
We chose not to?
Correct. Yeah, that was a change order item you approved that was not done. We were kind of waiting for them to come in once and do all the work. well, when the time West, or Kansas Gas got in there and did it, it was too late in the year. Those reinforcement mats really need the grass to grow up through them, and they work as a system, and it was too late. I didn't feel comfortable putting them down and not getting the grass tan and then having those mats be damaged and
So
over the
you don't
winter,
think we need to do them anymore?
I don't. I mean, again, we can kind of see how it holds up to the weather, but
Okay. So this is a final cost as far, and the project is basically done?
correct.
We may have to maybe work a little bit in the spring then, Tony, or?
Yeah.
On some grass.
Yeah, definitely, I think they should come back and seed it. That could be a condition of the final paperwork, so.
Okay.
It looked like it drained better than it did. before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't pool up.
It didn't pool up there
Yeah.
on Sutterman's like it did.
So it went, so his yard was clear,
Well, it was pretty wet today.
Yeah.
wet, but it wasn't like a pond up there?
No,
right?
I didn't see any big pond up there north of the tube or anything.
Okay, okay. All right, well, I'm glad you're here, Tony. So, based on that, I would entertain a motion to accept it.
Move to approve item 6 on the consent agenda.
I second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 8-0. All right, we're done with that. Next item is the appropriations ordinance number 3616.
Move to approve 3616 appropriation ordinance.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Eichmann,
Yes.
Biesinger,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Ekis.
Yes.
Fry,
Yay.
Gross,
Yes.
Schroller,
Yes.
Crom.
Yes.
It's 8-0.
8-0, all right. Rick, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor. Financial reports are, again, for November provided. In our general fund, our ending balance was $616,848. That's a little down from last year when it stood at $645,033. Our year-to-date expenses in the general fund are $1,830,000 compared to last year when they stood at $1,884,000, a difference of about $54,000. Our water revenue fund balance, it reflected the large payment on the water tower project, the final payment on our Calhoun Street water line, and inventory stocking for materials. So that's why you see those differences. In our sewage revenue fund, finished the month in the black, positive cash flow. The ending balance, if you look at that, it's fluctuated up and down within a small range for the whole year. Every month is up or down, but there seems to be a range, bottom and top. And our sales tax fund ending balance jumped, fortunately, by $54,275 in November because most of the large expenses for the year have been paid from that fund.
Which is good because we have to make that capital improvement fund.
Yeah, I would expect we'll probably have about the same. And that sales tax for November was one of the highest we've had.
I saw that.
Cool. I thought I'd go back. It was, I think the only other year that beat that was 2011 or 2013 was when we had like
Yeah, $88,000. So that's
that's good. Payroll update, provided you a payroll update, missed it last month, I think. For the period ending through November 30th, 2014-2015, our payroll total hours are up, 2,105 hours. The only funds with fewer hours really are the general fund and the Kester block, and all the other cost centers saw an overall increase in their hours. The biggest jump really was in the sewage revenue fund, but that was mainly due to full staffing that we achieved in 2015. Cost of that increase was a little over $42,000, including the library, which contributed really to about 25% of the increase, and that was because I believe they granted some increases to their staff this year. They had said that last year when they were doing this budget, they were going to try to increase those, so that accounts for that. And then the pool was about $7,000 of that increase too for their hours.
Yeah, they had 700 more hours,
Yeah.
I believe,
Yeah.
so.
700 more hours, yeah, they had more. Transfers report for
Can
month.
I ask one? the
Sure,
only
go ahead.
thing- My only question about that is when I look at, I know that we're fully staffed now, so we have more regular hours on water sewer, but I would expect us to have less hours on overtime because we're fully staffed. I know there's emergencies and whatever, and I know we staff somebody every weekend, but I would expect that to go down since we're fully staffed.
Actually, I don't know that it has that much effect on it because
Still
the
just
overtime
emergency.
is all incurred
Emergencies?
outside of normal working hours, and you just can't regulate that. You can't say, oh, gee, we're not gonna go because we don't want to spend 2 hours overtime. You have to respond to it, and whether you have a staff of 4 people, you have a staff of 7, you can't regulate it. I mean, sure, it gives more guys there to respond to it, but a lot of times they can get it done quicker if they have more people to respond to the emergency, so.
Yeah.
Works both
Just
ways.
just keep an eye on it, I guess, is what I wanted to say, so. Okay.
Believe me, they don't like going out after hours. I can assure you that. They're not sitting there waiting for something to happen, especially when the weather gets like it is now. They don't sit around, gee, well, I wish my phone to ring so I can get some overtime. I guarantee these guys, they're not wanting it. The project master list, tried to update that again. I think it's pretty correct. It hasn't changed a lot since the last one I gave.
Art Center project is not on there. And I didn't know, since we haven't paid that, if it needs to be.
Yeah, probably ought to put that on there then. Okay. All right, thanks for the oversight. All right, I'll add that.
I really like that schedule, though, to know what's outstanding and what we've completed for the year, so.
I'll add the Art Center. And then Microcom service contract renewal. We have an annual service contract with Microcom. Basically covers the electrical equipment, the SCADA equipment. Doesn't really cover the hours when they come out. And one of the things Kent's been trying to do is troubleshoot technical problems over the phone. It used to be when we weren't as familiar with the SCADA systems, possibly we'd have to get them out here, but now we know what their costs and we keep those in mind. He really tries to troubleshoot it. We only call them out if we can't figure it out. So,
Did we call them out in 2015 at all?
I don't know without going back and looking.
Do you know?
I don't recall too many times. I mean,
so that's who
I don't know without looking. I don't know if we did or not.
When I read that about the high service pump failing, that's who they would have called to try to figure out what was wrong with the SCADA system.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he tries to troubleshoot it himself first before he even calls.
I see this
if he
is
can't
for
figure that
reduced
out, then he
hours.
calls.
A reduced cost per hour. They charge us that for phone calls too?
No, I don't think so. Once they leave, they start charging. So Kent's very cognizant of that. And he's not just relying back on that. He's trying to avoid calling them if possible. I mean, avoid getting them out there. And the costs are the same as they were last year. I looked at the old one, the new one, and the costs are the same, so recommend approving his contract.
Is there a motion to that effect?
Move to approve the contract with Microcom for service, would authorize the mayor to sign.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 8-0.
And then, as we discussed in our work session, I just wanted you to see what the bid looks like. This is not what will go in the paper. We'll have an abbreviated version. This would be a little costly to publish.
Right.
I was just going to ask, I know Bill and Kevin and Denny, you guys walked through. When you read this, did this sound like what we needed to have done?
Yes.
Did you read through it?
This was taken from the original bid that was submitted, other than just making a few technical changes in the tense of the wording to make it third person instead of first person. It's word for word.
And then is there a reason why you bid it out? You took it into 2 bids rather than 1? Do you think you'll get more people to bid?
This is the way it was written. Primary and a secondary bid. All right?
Yeah, because the building was 1 and the roof was the second bid.
Second one.
That is correct.
I mean, don't need to prove it. I mean, if you guys are okay with it, we'll get it.
No, I think we need to go ahead and get it out, get something done over there with it.
Okay, so we go ahead and make a motion.
Move to have Rick go ahead and solicit bids or invitation to bid for the water shop repairs.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nato?
And just for an update on our geometric improvement project, and I didn't get a chance to get on and see if there's any more plan holders, but as of last Friday, or Thursday or Friday, Friday, it didn't change. 4 plan holders, Amino Brothers from Kansas City, Kansas, Brian from Halstead. Most of you are probably familiar with them. They did all our Brick streets. They're actually going to partner with Hall Brothers on this. Ebert Construction Company from Wamego and Leavenworth Excavating. They did the Seneca. It's called Lexico. They did the Seneca project. There are 9 non-bidding subcontractors that have plans. Some of them are boring companies. I think there's one electrical company on there. That's probably affiliated with the stoplight. Hall Brothers, sign people, so all the necessary subs are on there. I may go down for the bid opening Wednesday. They're kind of interesting to go to. For those of you that, if you got a computer, there's a link right there. And if you use your electronic tablets and just click on that, that should open that up for you. You can't really get into the broadcast earlier than 15 minutes before the bid opening, so you'd have to wait till at least 1:15 if you want to go online and listen to it.
But I could go down there and listen to other bid openings to see what other cities are doing, what other
They will
projects.
they'll have, I didn't copy, I was thinking I sent that out in the information packet, but there'll be about 10 or 12 projects.
Yeah, I thought I'd go out and kind of hear what other people are bidding and what the grant monies were given to and various, it might give us some insight on how to get some more grant monies. So I'm going to go down, so if anybody wants to go down and speak, let me know.
And then there's the project information on the project number. And it did say on their website, the latest required starting date's June 6th. So if we go through with it, then before June 6th, they'll be under construction. Construction's estimated at 120 days. I've talked with Tony. We're hoping that it's not that much because his CE fee is tied to the 120 days. So if it comes in other words, just like the mayor said earlier, if the bids come in lower, we save money there. But if construction time is 90 to 100 days, we save even more money because that's money on the inspection. So
somebody asked me if we would, I guess, go down to one lane throughout that corridor.
Yes.
During this project.
There are 7 or 9 stages to the 9? 7? No, 7. There are 7. If you want to come in sometime with the plans, I'll show you. There's 7 stages for how they do this. I mean,
so the way
it'll be like, and I don't know necessarily particular, but like if they're working on the middle lane, then traffic will be on the other lanes. If they're working on the north lane, then it'll be on the middle and the south one. And so
it'd be like it was in Seneca when they did theirs, like the cones and everything up.
Belleville did just recently too.
Yeah.
Now the south side isn't going to be changed at all, right?
Not much. There's just going to be a lot of ditch work and some of that.
A little bit of curbing here and there.
Yeah, I believe there's 7 stages on the routing of the traffic.
Okay.
And then next item is the loan amendment to the KDHE loan. They've submitted loan amendment number 1. This amends the loan for the tower project, reduces the amount of the loan to $547,952.34. The current ending balance is $462,220.30 as shown on the final amortization schedule. The recommendation to approve the amendment, authorize the mayor to sign.
Is there a motion for that?
Move to approve the KDHE loan amendment number 1 and authorize mayor to sign.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
And one item that's not on here, on the dump hours, I'd like to know what you'd like to do. Friday there were 38 people, Saturday there were 21, and Sunday there was 1.
Because of the rain.
Yeah, I guess it rains.
So, you know, we've been open weekly, 3:30 to 5:30. Do you want to continue with the days? You want to just go back to the Wednesday and Saturday, Sunday hours?
I think that's probably what we should do.
Dated on Wednesday even?
Just Saturday, Sunday?
People like these stuff there.
Yeah. It's going to be nice this week.
Oh, I know.
Let's stay with the Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah,
Okay. Beginning this week?
yeah.
And then if we start seeing that there's no people attending them,
And just Saturday and
using
Sunday.
it, we can
Sunday
switch
and
it.
Sunday, yeah.
When did we switch it to just weekends, do you remember?
And about this
I
time
can
of
say
year,
about
we were
this time.
clear into the winter time. We were
But it
clear.
was colder.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were clearing about.
But we can always
late
change the
fall,
next meeting too.
Yeah.
If nobody comes the next 2 Wednesdays, we'll just shut it down.
Okay, for clarity, will someone state date and hours?
Wednesday from 3:30
Wednesday
to
from
5:30.
3:30 to 5:30?
And Saturday and Sunday 1 to 5.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be getting dark at 5:30, but
I think that's what it is, wasn't it? 3:30 to 5:30?
yeah.
I think
we
that's
don't
what it's
have
on
to
the sign now.
Repaint the sign.
Yeah, like I said, it's on the sign now, it's 3:30 to 5:30.
Okay, so Sunday too, because I just heard us say we're going
Saturday,
to Wednesday,
Sunday.
Saturday.
and
Wednesday,
Sunday.
Saturday, Sunday.
1 to 5.
1 to 5.
1 to 5.
1 to 5.
Thank you.
Weather permitting.
Okay, I just had a couple questions. Did you find out about the KDOT and the flags on the South Bridge? If we need to do it, or if they're going to send us something?
I'm thinking that I sent them an email, but I haven't heard anything yet.
Okay.
I haven't heard anything back.
And I wanted everyone to know that now all the applications or information is in to League of Kansas Municipalities for the city administrator search. So now they'll probably bring something to us in January as far as at least a job description. So we got that all done. Thank you all. And I just wanted to say, just to encourage you, you guys read these when they come out, for the most part, the highlights? Okay. So I just wanted to encourage you to get every department in there. Sometimes not all the departments are included, and I kind of drive by and see what they're working on. Do you guys do that? So I find these really helpful during the week to know what's going on, and when people call me, I know what's going on, so. And the last thing, and I guess this is a good time to discuss it, if any, is I was looking at our dog tag fees. I know, but they start in January. Everybody has to buy dog fees in January, dog tags in January. And partially to give us some money possibly to use on the maintenance of the dog park, but maybe increasing that. It's $10 right now. It's been $10 since '05. And I was thinking if we just increase it to maybe $15 a tag, and then we have a little bit of incremental money for the dog park, no?
No.
I don't think so.
You'll get more people not paying it.
Yep.
You'll get
You
less
may.
people with dog tags?
Yeah.
Yep.
Even just $10?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Very touchy.
People are very sensitive
Touchy
to that.
subject.
They're mad they have to pay 10.
Not very many people happy about the dog park.
Really?
Yeah.
I got a lot of comments that they're not,
They don't want it
think
there.
we need a dog park there.
Yep. Period.
Just out of curiosity, why do they think we not need it? Is it a money issue, or is it philosophically opposed to park
Oh,
dogs?
and the other thing is, the who's going to take care of it? So that's another city employee that is going to have to spend time.
But they're
I think
already,
the group's
but they're already taking.
No, I don't think so.
But they're already taking care of it.
So they just mow it.
Yeah.
It's just being mowed.
They don't have to go around and clean up.
Well, we've already made a commitment to that, so. Okay. Debbie, you're up.
Good tonight. Nothing.
Okay. The only thing, I did have a resident call me about junk cars, which I know Vicky's kind of been on. Did you ever get with Dave about getting a card to send out? Remember we talked about that? Regarding Smitty's, towing him away, just to get him cleaned up?
Brad and I weren't we going to go around and sort of handpick some?
We kind of-
The very worst.
Well, but we talked about doing also a reminder. It was at the water bill, but somewhere we were going to put a little slip in one of the mailings. I don't think we were going to do a separate mailing, right? To give them the
A
option.
newsletter, I mean, I think we were going to put something in the newsletter.
Maybe it was. Maybe that's what it was.
We're going to put it in the newsletter rather than a postcard to specific individuals. You want to put it in the newsletter?
To put it in the newsletter was to inform people who don't watch this, who don't read the newspaper, who don't get the information any other place. Everybody needs to be notified. And doesn't everybody get a copy of our letter, of our quarterly? Because doesn't that tie in with the addresses we have for the water bill? Okay, I think that'd be the best way to get the information out to everybody. And then after that, maybe for us to go around and pick out the people who have the worst situations, and because that would be where we can do the most good.
Just just let's do a list
As a start, yeah, of
them
everybody, yeah.
that we,
But in the beginning,
So you want to start with the newsletter in January? Okay.
just,
Yeah, not
just to
bother
let them
anybody
know
at
that's an
Christmas time.
option.
I
Just
just
call
had
and-
somebody call me and say, why is no one taking care of any of this? And so.
Did they
I know-
have something in particular? Did they have like, this is the most egregious
No,
violator?
But they
Or they
just
just
had
sort of talk about
some
it?
specific houses, yeah, that they said.
And you can send letters on those.
So we can take care of individual
Yeah,
houses pretty easy,
yeah.
especially if we got a complaint on it.
Yes, always a complaint generates action. But.
Well, Vicki,
Christmas
did you have some specific houses too?
Yes, I do. Yes.
So you,
Now
But
got one that
right
need to-
now, I kind of would like to leave people alone till after Christmas.
Okay.
Instead of adding to the
Let's just bring it
stress.
in, David.
Yeah.
Just turn it over to David.
I encourage people that have these complaints to call City Hall, but so many hesitate.
Or to use
Because
the,
their name, they don't want their name associated, because you can ask who it is and they can tell you, and they don't want their name associated with it,
with the complaint?
with the complaint.
But they don't have, does it have to, do they have to have
Yes.
a named complainant?
Yes.
Not an
And that has
We talked
and
about
that
it, okay.
becomes
Yeah,
a
if it's
record
written
when they
in.
complain.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that is an open record who complained.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Well, that's why.
Well, that's probably why we as a council should drive around and find them
That's what,
ourselves.
I had suggested that we just maybe.
I don't
just
reveal the source
Drive
if it-
around and come to a comprehensive
Well,
list and
if
say,
we-
If
here's.
anybody
come up
asks,
with it.
right, if anybody calls and said there's a problem, and I haven't seen it, or none of us have seen it, it hasn't come to our attention, then I don't reveal the source, because why shoot the
Yeah.
messenger? If someone's in violation, they're the ones that we should deal with, and the person who passes the information on to us there shouldn't be a reprimand against
That's
them
right.
by the neighbor. So I'm glad to say I'm not at liberty to reveal the source, or just say, you're in violation. We don't need to justify who said. So.
All right, that's all I had. Standing committees, we have street.
I got downtown, we have this ordinance that says that they're not supposed to be parking on Thursday nights for cleanup. Nobody's enforcing it. You go downtown in front of Toledo Deli, there's leaves underneath them cars. There's across the street, there's leaves underneath cars over there, the people that live up in them apartments up there, and they're not getting off the street during the night. I don't know.
Is that true with the street sweeper? Have you heard him say that?
I don't, it's probably been a few weeks since the sweeper went out downtown.
They said
They were out last week.
They said last week they were out, but these trucks are not moving. There's signs on every corner, all up and down Main Street.
The highway's just as bad. There's 4 of them on the
We
highway
used
every
to give out
Friday.
tickets, because I got one. When I lived at those apartments, when I lived down at,
I think they need
I
to
forgot
be
to
giving
move my
out.
car and I got one.
I
So,
think they need to be giving out, or getting, at least tell them first time, and then if they don't do it, give them a ticket the next time.
Will you communicate that
We'll
to?
talk about it in the morning.
Okay.
And then also, person brought to the attention on 12th Street up there, Spring to Walnut by the high school, that street is rougher than heck up there. I don't know if they need to,
The concrete
the
structure
concrete is breaking up, I don't know if
around
they.
that curve and stuff.
Yeah.
You can see it's
All in front of the high school, it's uneven.
It is kind of dangerous.
Because people are letting kids
And
out
it's
there.
a dark corner too.
Yeah.
So maybe the street can pour some cement right there at that corner.
Well, no, on the street, I would like to thank Gary Gundelfinger and his crew for taking this street sweeper down to some of the streets they had been missing.
Those middle routes. All right, we will move on to water, wastewater. We have 2 items there. One is a chainsaw on page 60 and 61. Kent gave us some more input on that during the budget workshop, so I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve the purchase of the saw. as listed in the agenda.
Taking the funds out of,
Could somebody advise me?
It'll be on water fund. Water. It comes from water.
Okay.
just
Thank you.
wanted to hear.
No, thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Is this for 2 saws or 1?
It's one saw, it's
One
2
saw,
chains,
2
and
chains.
2 oils. Just displace the word.
But it says get 2 of each of.
Isn't that number the chain? Yes.
Thought it was.
On the next page, it's the chain.
Water tank, the
2 of the items I would like to get 2 each of is what it says.
Yeah, but up here it
Extra
says
chain
quantity
and
1.
oil.
Okay, but
Yeah.
I'm looking at what he wrote.
Oh, yeah, he's got it on the quotation bit on the second page.
Okay.
Discussion?
So you just want to clarify, it's one
Yeah.
saw,
Yes.
2 chains,
It's
and
2.
2 quarts of oil.
1 saw and 2 chains.
One
been
saw,
first and
2
second?
chains, 2 quarts of oil.
And an extra sprocket.
Is there any other discussion?
Are we discussing? Has it been firsted and seconded? Did I miss something?
Did somebody?
Yeah, it's got first and second.
Okay, I would like to go on record as saying I think this is exorbitant for a saw. I think that this is something we would not use all the time. In workshop, we discussed it and asked Kent Bargman to speak with the people who uses this. They use it all the time as part of their daily work. We would not use it that often, and I just think the use that it would get does not warrant the price of the saw, $6,595.
I think it does if you're down in a hole and you've got to cut a pipe off to put a sleeve on it. I think it's pretty cheap. When you're laying on your back with water coming down on top of you.
Well,
Yeah, I
he
think
said,
it's pretty cheap.
he said he was going to contact, did you ever hear back from him? He was going to contact the
I
people
think
that
he
had used
contacted,
it?
but he's been on this, so.
Yeah, he
It's
said,
municipal pipe supplies, the guys will do all the cutting for it.
Yeah, and do you know if they gave him feedback, whether they?
I don't know what that necessarily was. I think he's contacted.
yeah, I figured he got feedback. He said he would, and he does what he says he'll do, but I didn't think he would submit it again unless he had gotten positive feedback from him. But still, he talked to the people who use this daily. Didn't know they lay on a hole on their back. I know that this takes the place of 2 saws that we use, and it's more efficient, but I'm still locked into that $6,595. I think that's exorbitant. We'd asked for a second bid, and I guess there just isn't any other place to get this type of equipment in the nation, but somehow or other there wasn't any other place to get another quote. I just wanted to see a comparable.
I think this goes through any size pipe that we have in the city, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what he explained.
Biggest thing we
12 inch.
cut is about 12 inch.
12 inch.
But we don't, well,
Right now,
on
we can't.
water, 10 inch, 10 inch on water.
Thought he said there was a 12 coming off the tower up there.
Oh, yeah, going up. Might be.
Hopefully we never have to cut
But we've
that.
got-
Oh, I know. There's a lot of water coming through that one.
I don't know that,
Yeah.
A lot of water coming to that 12 inch.
It's nights like this, cold winter nights, and this saw would come in handy.
Yeah.
If you're out there in the wintertime, you know this, Bill, you've been out there and you get out a cold winter night and you got this, you don't need guys getting hypothermia. They need to be out there, get that thing cut, get that fixed, and get it on. This is what allows that job to be done.
And the problem with the other saw is when they're down in the hole and that water's actually spraying out of them, it's killing that other saw
Yes.
because it's not really made for that type of application. And
It's
when the
it's a
water's
quickie saw.
spraying on the saw and shutting it off, you gotta get it out of the hole and start it, You're losing time, effort, money,
Those are quickie saws made for cutting concrete.
Right.
That's what they are. This is made for cutting these
For
pipes.
cutting pipe.
I was thinking he wanted this half between the water and half between the sewer.
Yeah, that's fine. That works.
Is that what he said, half water, half sewer?
Page 60.
Yeah, that's what he said that day. I didn't know if he
I
got
was
it.
split, I see that.
Yeah, have water, have some.
Okay,
Same thing.
so we had a first and second, is there any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
7-1. All right, and the next item was the fence. We talked about this at the workshop, and to make the gates wider to fit the sewer truck.
Gives you about another 3 feet clearance.
Which we need, because it is tight now.
And this would come out of the sewer fund?
Yeah, I think it's all sewer.
Okay. I would entertain a motion.
Move to approve the fence estimate from Roach Fencing for the fence at the sewer plant for the amount of, it's like $3,100.
Second.
Any discussion?
This be a spring project, or would they be getting on it right
Oh,
away?
we'll probably,
I said, probably have it done
as
here
soon as they get done.
Okay, I know if it was,
in 2 weeks, if that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 8-0. Okay. I just wanted to, for water and sewer, I just wanted to let you guys know, I went to that Kansas Rural Water Association training last week in Washington. It's very helpful to go and see all the, it was primarily all operators and me, but it's great to know what all they're doing to provide us water and to understand all the testing they do and how KDHE is on them to make sure the water meets certain standards and all their responsibilities. So it kind of makes you understand all that they do in that department. So when you have a chance to go, I encourage you guys to go. Going back to this Gates thing, is this for water sewer? Kevin, that you've mentioned before that we...
No, it is actually the, gate wells.
The gate wells.
The gate wells down on the river. B1, number 3 down there.
So are these ones from the river?
Yeah, partial, and there's corn stalks and out in the float around from, on 3 it comes underneath, open tube, then it goes through a bridge opening, I guess is what I would call it. There's a piece of plywood on the back side that is silted in, and I don't know how we're gonna have to get down in there and get that cleaned out.
And we don't have the equipment to get it well tired out.
I understand. And then from there, it flows to the south, west, around the field, and it ends up clear to the northwest corner of that field there. And then it goes in a little 12 or 16-inch drain pipe. And that drain pipe was completely full of corn stubble.
So we need to get that cleaned out because...
And then where it goes out the other end, the flap gate was half full of mud. I'm sure that was when the river was up earlier this summer. But I don't, when they open it up here after the river goes down and flushes it, I don't know how much of that, if we've got enough flow going out of that, if it'll open that up on the back end any to...
I don't know.
So...
I guess with all this rain, it made me think about the gates that you were talking about, to say, we need to make sure whatever it takes to clean them up.
2's pretty clean, 1's got some debris in it, but not real bad, and 4's got a big pile of dirt up there that need to get an excavator or something down in there to get it just off the concrete, 8 or 10 feet.
Okay.
So there's a big pile. They've dug a little trench along the side of it, but it needs to be opened up so we can get, the water will break through there quicker.
Okay. All right. Anything else for water sewer? Parks and Rec? Cemetery and Airport?
On Cemetery and Airport, Mayor, I would just like to say, while going through the bills today, to check them all for approval tonight, I noticed that some of our departments are using talents that they have that I think is kind of above and beyond the call of duty to maintain their own trucks. And I just want to say I really appreciate that. It saves us a service call or taking the truck out of commission for a day or two to take it to a repair shop. One of them, I think, was putting in an emergency brake. But I see they're doing their own oil changes and things like that, and I just really appreciate the initiative they're taking to maintain their equipment. And that's not just cemetery, that's other departments too. I want to thank the guys for taking that initiative.
All right. Police and Fire? Admin and Finance? The only thing I had a citizen call me that I thought came with it. Remember when we were discussing about rental units, you gave me that article about rental units in Manhattan? And when we were discussing it, and they came up with an idea that why don't you not inspect rental units, but if there's a complaint, then you have some kind of board that makes sure they have meet certain criteria. What are your thoughts about that? I didn't think it was so bad. In other words, the problem we had, at least the feedback I got when we first started talking about rentals, were a lot of the people said, you've never had a complaint about us, and now you're going to make us go through this whole inspection process. And they were not, a lot of the people that have rentals weren't happy and voiced their complaint. So this is kind of the way I thought this was a different approach, was you wait till the complaint comes, and actually the Finance and Admin Committee can be the board or whatever if we had some criteria to meet. What are you laughing about?
Oh, I'm not.
I think that's great.
Yeah, I think so too.
But, or we could set up a board, but anyway, have some kind of board that would have criteria, so you can at least address some of these problems, but not put that burden on everybody.
Yeah.
My only concern would be, what would be the baseline criteria for complaints? I mean, if a renter came in, just spitballing, if a renter came in to turn on their water in their rental, could you have like a little something to hand them? And just, some people have no idea that they're in a hovel, and I don't want those people to suffer just because they're not a squeaky wheel. You know, I guess, is there a way to, kind of give them a primer on, hey,
I think something like that would be
running water?
Would be needed.
That might be a concern.
And have the renter required to hand it out.
I think it's still the junk cars. Somebody still has to raise their hand, which puts them in the line of, I don't know.
You mean the
I guess it's being reactivate. It's
puts them on the radar.
Can't say the word. Instead of being proactive, we're being reactive.
Right. But I thought it would take away some of the complaints I had from people who were saying, I can't believe, they thought we were overstepping our grounds by checking rentals when there has never been a problem. Several people stopped me.
The mayor, how many of the rental owners voiced an opinion?
I probably had 8 to 10 people call me right when we first discussed it. This is the first kind of solution that somebody brought forward to me and said, hey, what do you think about this? And I thought, that's not such a bad. You can just think about it. We don't have to make any decisions. That's just food for thought for the night. Any other admin and finance? All right, we have some appointments on page 63.
Move to approve the mayor's appointments.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 8-0. And then we have wage increases on page 64. We discussed this briefly at the workshop as well. I would like to address really tonight just the full-time employees, and we'll discuss the seasonal and part-time employees later. But if we would at least address the full-time tonight, I think that's all that we have to do. So.
I move that we approve the 32 cent per hour for the 34 full-time employees.
Is there a second? Second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 8-0. Okay.
Effective January 3rd?
Yes, effective January 1.
Yes.
January 3rd.
January 3rd, is that the
First day of a pay period.
The first day of that pay period for 2016? Okay, effective January 3rd. All right. Our city attorney is not here.
Is he going to come one more time before he's...
Yes, he'll be here next meeting.
Okay.
And,
We need to haze him.
yes, it's a great honor that he got appointed to that position. It just doesn't help us, but it's a great honor to him.
Has he given you a partial list of possible?
No, he has not. So I've emailed him, so hopefully he will.
I talked to him last week. He said he was going to.
Yeah. So I have no reason for an executive session. Does anyone? All right, moving along to roundtable. I have a couple items. Remember, the party is tomorrow for city staff and governing body. It's from 11 to 2, whenever you can come. It's a great opportunity for us to meet all of our staff, stay as long as you can, and we're going to give them our gift certificates at that time.
Is there a time, if one can't be there the whole 11 to 2, is there a time that?
Noon, probably. Noon.
Is the, okay.
Most of them will come in at noon.
Okay.
Can most of you guys come at least for part of that time?
Yeah,
Okay.
It'd be nice to be able to hit it, maximize
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, great. That is great. I think it's good for us to dine with our staff and get to know them a little bit better. So the other thing that Debbie left here was a reminder of the chamber mixer on Thursday. It's at 5 o'clock at LaBelle Salon, which is one of our renters at the Kester Block. I just want to thank all the governing body members and the city staff that are participating in the lighting contest. We have 50 participants. You can get the ballots at City Hall, the Visitor Center, off Facebook, visit marysville.com.
Vote for number 23.
You do have nice
I'll resist.
Mayor, I had a question. I thought originally we were talking about there would be a winner in each ward. Is that still true?
I think they're still planning to do.
They're doing it that way.
Identify one.
It's not set up as I had initially expected it, but what they will do is whoever, the 4 prizes will be in each ward. You can vote for 4, and they can be all in the same ward, but whoever gets the most ward in Ward 2 will get it, Ward 3, Ward 4, Ward 1. And Clark Griswold will be whoever gets the most votes for that specific award. Of course, the overall winner will be the one that has the most votes in all 4 positions. So.
I think we got about 7 or 8 turned in there already.
Well, the good thing is that they keep running out of them at the gas stations and CJ's and stuff, so that's a good sign. And the visitor center, they've had to print more and more and more, so that's a good sign. So thank you all for participating. And if you don't, you should drive through and see them, because we have some great lights in town.
I think the map's online too.
They are.
Yeah,
the map is.
Facebook too.
It's kind of hard to see, but
it's a little hard to read. Okay,
yeah.
I hadn't looked at it.
But but the good thing is the addresses are listed at the bottom, so if you choose to do that rather than the route, you can still do it. Okay, a holiday party. And thank you all for participating in the Marysville Christmas Parade. And Sarah for putting her picture in the paper. That was very nice. It was a great day, great temperature, or whatever. Lastly is just a reminder that there is the Local Government Day in Topeka on January 27th. So you can kind of, it's a Wednesday, look in your calendar, see if anybody's interested in going. We can kind of meet with the legislatures. Good opportunity to get to know more about what might be coming down the pike for city governments. With that in mind, we'll do roundtable. Keith?
Nope, nothing.
Bill?
I'd just like to thank everybody that helped with the parade, the city people, and I thought it went real well.
Yeah, for bringing the gator down, that was nice of them. And it was clean, so that was really nice. And there were a lot of people there, so that was encouraging.
Throw that candy too soon.
Not throw too hard. No, because, make the whole parade done. Yeah. Darlene?
I'm glad that Cindy is back with
recovering well.
Hip replacement.
Right. Anything else? That's very nice. Brad?
Quick question, Rick, the study on the business park, it feels like it's been a while, and I don't remember the dates, but at the time we discussed it, it was like, we got to do it.
The
It almost felt like you need to do it tomorrow.
Industrial park.
Yeah, the industrial park. Thank you, I'm sorry. We're on, I mean, in terms of meeting the deadlines.
I'm expecting them to maybe be here at the next meeting.
Okay. I couldn't remember the
They
date.
said they were going to have it done by the end of December.
It was 90
If
days.
not next meeting, it'll be first one in January.
It was 90 days from the last publication date, and the last publication date was in November.
Okay.
So we're
still,
starting on our
thank you.
first 30 days.
February,
but-
yeah.
Anything else?
No.
Todd?
I guess I had thought about it a little bit. I don't know. Did they ever do county government day with the schools, like high school seniors here?
Yes.
Do they do anything with the city as far as that? Or, do they come and tour? Do they present?
They have.
Paula used to do that years ago.
They should. We get them involved with local
You talk
government.
to a lot of the I mean, I say kids, but some of them are voting age. They really don't know what's going on at all. And, you know, they kind of hear things here and there. It'd be kind of nice to
Paul used to do that, but they got to where nobody was participating. Couldn't have enough kids to participate because you had a mock council meeting and everything else.
You know how you get kids participate? Make their grade depend on it.
We can talk to Mr. Mullins about it, though.
Well, they still do it at, like at the county level. At the county level.
But we need to get them involved at the city level.
Yeah, I mean, all politics is local, and the more local, the better. So it'd be good to get them involved. That's just something we could look at.
I think that's great.
Maybe we could issue an invitation to join us at council meeting.
Oh, yeah.
A regular council meeting.
You can bring a proposal. You could hear them out.
The reason most of them come to get out of school that day.
I was going to say.
It's not gonna work at night. All right.
Is that all?
That's it.
Vicki?
I have nothing to say.
Denny?
I just wondered if you ever got a fitness report from the fitness center yet?
No, I told Todd. I'm sure Todd's following up on it, but
Fitness report.
For police officers?
That's all I have.
Okay. Kevin?
Nope.
Okay, I have one last thing to say. I brought some chocolates in there, and you know, Forrest Gump's famous line is, my mama always says, life is like a box of chocolates. You
Never know what you're gonna get.
Okay, and I feel like that's the same way as we are with city council. You never know what it is until you jump in and serve. So again, I want to say thank you for jumping in and serving, and have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Mayor.
And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? 8-0. Merry